forgot the big part that I learned about this donor. I forgot. And these young women told me that this donor was French American and that this donor's name was Pierre. It wasn't until yesterday, after we went off air, that I presented to you all of this stuff about the DuPont family, that it clicked, and these ladies messaged me and said, "Oh, you figured it out. It's Pierre DuPont. Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point." I mentioned Pierre DuPont on yesterday's show, and this took my breath away. I will be honest, I cried really hard yesterday, thinking, my goodness, how could I have forgotten that this donor is French American, that was the big thing. And I was racking my brain trying to figure out that time, because I hadn't even heard France's involvement in anything. Like, who do I know that's French and has tons of money and is involved in technologies and could possibly be working on a big check that could be kept secret because it's about to IPO and billions are on the line, and it all kind of came together. And I would like an answer about this Pierre, the billionaire French-American donor, and I would like a clean answer as to whether or not it is Mr. Pierre DuPont. Yeah? Because this would be a devastatingly dark story. And my sources are very sure that this is what was on the line, that this was life-changing money, and they are very sure that this individual got a phone call after the assassination, and I think that we deserve to know. I don't think this should be a secret, right? Charities shouldn't be a secret. Why? And by the way, it leads to more questions, like how could you say that you knew that your IPO was going to lead to billions of dollars? How could you promise that? How could you promise that? And did Charlie know? Did Charlie know? And I'm going to be honest with you, I know a lot of billionaires, they don't part with their money like that. They don't part with their money and offer people pieces of their company, people that aren't even their family members. So why was that offer on the table? I have so many questions, and I'm going to ask them publicly, and I think that we demand answers. We should all be demanding answers, because this is now starting to feel very, very dark. It's too French, right? It's just too French. We just can't all be hanging out in Delaware. And there's one more thing that came in regarding Andrew Colbert, very close family friend of Andrew Colbert, messaged me early on, and I, again, was not tracking any of this at the time, but they had said that they felt that Andrew Colbert was acting weird, and I'm sure that's not a big deal. Maybe we were all acting weird because he was assassinated, but moreover, they had mentioned that specifically Andrew had told them that when Charlie said no to Bibi, he lost out on millions. Now I'm going to say allegedly because it's a tip, but I have a tip in writing. I'm not lying to you. And I thought to myself, that's so weird. How could the spokesperson at Turning Point USA be on the, how could they be gaining millions from that? What's the structure here of these contracts? And even people that are in PR, people that are like running PR departments, are getting tips on the basis of donations. I don't know how this is working, but we need to figure out how this is working. I think it's really important that we learn the truth about what happened. Who's Pierre? Is it Pierre DuPont? And has Turning Point been paid? Obviously, it wouldn't be on this year's taxes. We're not going to find those on this year's taxes, but it would be on next year's. But we can ask now, and I'm asking now. And there's more I want to share, but we're going to take a brief break for sponsors. I'll ask the question, what are you guys doing today to protect your tomorrow? Because it seems like waiting until later is not really an option, because we're already living in the later. You should consider adding gold into your financial strategy, because if economies destabilize and the markets get scared, currencies can lose their value, but gold does not always follow suit. Having some gold means that you're not 100% dependent on one financial system. You'll instead have something tangible, and for me, it's about planning, it's about protecting. And of course, I'm not saying that you should dump everything that you have into gold, because that would be as misguided as sticking with just stocks, but balancing your investments is definitively crucial. If you're worried about retirement or worried about the current economy, then let this be your little nudge. Visit CandaceLikesGold.com to get your free 2025 gold and silver kit and learn about how you can get up to 10% in free silver. Don't wait for the next crisis. Protect your future today. Call 855-815-GOLD or simply visit CandaceLikesGold.com. Again, CandaceLikesGold.com. Also, I've been telling you guys about Beekeepers Natural, because this holiday season may be full of joy, travel, and togetherness, but it also happens to overlap with peak cold and flu season. Between crowded stores, packed schedules, late nights, and extra stress, our immune systems are working overtime just when we need them the most. That's why I am so thankful for Beekeepers Naturals and their amazing propolis throat spray. If you haven't heard of propolis, it's this natural immune supporting substance that bees make to protect their hives. It's like nature's own shield, that's the best way to think of it, packed with antioxidants and over 300 beneficial compounds. It's been used for centuries to help support immunity. It soothes your scratchy throats. It also keeps you feeling your best. I use the propolis throat spray, especially during the holidays, because it's clean, it's natural, and it's free from all that junk that you can't really pronounce. There's no dyes, there's no chemicals, there's no fake sugars. Beekeepers Naturals recently launched a kid-friendly version as well of their nasal spray, and the mist is soft and gentle, so kids actually don't mind using it. Today, Beekeepers Naturals is giving viewers exclusive access to their extended holiday sale. You can get 30% off site-wide, so head to beekeepersnaturals.com and enter code Candace at checkout, or you can just go to beekeepersnaturals.com/Candace. This is their biggest sale of the year. Their best sellers always sell out. That's beekeepersnaturals.com and enter code Candace, or you can just go to beekeepersnaturals.com/Candace. There is such a thing as a good Fed, believe it or not. There are good guys. There are good guys everywhere. You know, lightness is always fighting darkness. And I received an interesting tip from a Fed that I'm going to share with you now that might be relevant. But Turning Point USA put in a personal request to try to get the Egyptian plane story killed. You know, and I find that to be very interesting. What is it about the didn't want them to be discussed. I don't know. But I am going to find out. I think we kind of have found out in a weird, really effed up way, actually. It makes my stomach turn. I'm going to miss Charlie. I really am going to miss Charlie. And I think when Charlie was assassinated, there was something about it. I knew that this story was going to be dark. Instantly, I knew that Charlie was betrayed. It laughed at me. Oh, you had a dream. Charlie told you he was... Yeah, Charlie told me that he was betrayed. And I think part of the mourning was... the grief that I was experiencing was in large part due to my understanding that this was going to be missional for me. I think I knew deep down that this was going to be missional, and I kind of knew deep down that the whole world was going to be against me, or I guess the whole dark apparatus was going to be against me, not the world. There are so many good people in the world that are the reason I'm doing this, and who understood instantly and felt instantly what I felt when this all happened. And I think it's sad because I was just reflecting on, I guess, really the last part of my youth, being ignorant and thinking that we lived in a country that was free and was fair, it was a meritocracy, the excitement of me and Charlie in politics. Like, we were young bucks thinking that we were going to change the world because the MAGA movement offered us this opportunity to do it, right? We were going to get Trump elected, and we're going to get people to stop talking about racism and sexism and to understand, like, family is a priority. And I realize now, and I know Charlie realizes now, that we did not see the evil that was around us. And I'm going to miss that youth. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to miss that young experience. I'm going to miss Charlie going on dates and the girl they liked and me always being the wing woman and him asking. This text message is one of my favorite text messages between me and Charlie when he was getting ready to go on a date. And, you know, he didn't date many people. And he was just kind of in love with this girl. And he was asking me, should I wear this? And this is the text message. It's so sweet. He said, do I have to change this shirt? And I wrote back, yes. And throw it away if you can. Charlie, he was, okay. And he's wearing a Turning Point early shirt that somebody, I think, gave to him. He's stitched on. Is it stitched on? Is it ironed on? I don't know. But I was like, Charlie, burn it. Obviously, burn that shirt. And it makes me, it's stuff that makes me cry and makes me sad because he just was so young. You know, Charlie was so young and he was such a good person. And I'm also going to miss the young conversations that you have when you're vibing with someone and you're speaking about things that you don't understand. As you were coming up in politics, I always felt like an alien. We would have these discussions with donors and we'd have discussions with people, or people would do stuff, and I would just tell them all the time, Charlie, I'm an alien. I am new on this planet. I don't understand this. I don't understand doublespeak and, you know, contracts and people threatening to sue. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm an alien. And Charlie always said he felt like he was a time traveler. This is a conversation. I say, I'm an alien. I just messaged him from across the road. He said, I think I'm a time traveler. This is my home. He felt like Earth was his planet, but I think you found me and time traveled with me. Like the kind of friendship where you can talk about being a time traveler and feeling like an alien, as I've always felt like it, because I don't get it. I don't get the rules of this planet. I don't get the betrayal, the backstabbing, the people that dance for money. It's never made sense to me. From when I was a kid, I just felt out of place. And I am out of place in politics. I will tell you that. Because this is what it's all about, right? Selling your soul to the devil. And I don't want to do that. Anyways, that's just going a long way of me saying that I'm going to miss the ignorance of our political youth, thinking that they could be fair, thinking that we could just work hard, thinking that we could run a company, that we could launch this revolution where people were going to be happy in the future because America was the land of the free. I had to mourn that. Now I realized, and as I've expressed, that this is missional. Charlie knew he was going to die young, but there was more that were in those now seemingly prophetic text messages that I was unwilling to share at that time. But I am going to share that now. When he was speaking about his death and the visions that he was having in April of 2018, he also said some other things. He didn't just say that he was going to die. He didn't just say that Turning Point was going to be the death of him, but he also wrote this. This is on April 13th. He wrote this. He wrote, "Ish like tonight is what I have foreseen. This won't result in anything. I'll give you the context in a moment. But in our lifetime, we will experience real war beyond anything that we can fathom. Absolute and total destruction." Now, for historical reference, what was going on that week involved, of course, France, right? America, France, Israel, the Middle East, Syria, Russia. And this is the Syria before Israel and the United States overthrew Assad. What was going on was the United States and France were carrying out a series of military strikes involving an aircraft and these ship-based missiles against multiple government sites in Syria. And the official reason that we were told was because the Syrian government had apparently chemically gassed their own citizens, something which Assad had strenuously denied. In effect, if Assad was telling the truth, and I believe he was, because I think there's a war on Christians that's happening, then the West and the United States were implicated in part by a false flag attack to justify a larger military justification. That's kind of something the West does a lot, right? False flag attack, get the media going, we have to respond, and then we just sort of take land. Yeah, that's what we do. Now, France had said in a statement on that morning on April 14th that France's red line had been crossed. So this was a story which Charlie said, this is not the thing that's coming, but this is a preview of the thing that's coming. Missiles, false flag attacks, chemicals, and the Middle East, America, France, and Israel. It is something. It is something, right? This was the vibe of something that Charlie felt was going to happen in the future. And then Charlie, I used to always say, I told you that, the rest is future. I think we are in the rest right now. We are approaching that future right now. And I didn't feel it then in 2018, but I feel it now. I've been telling you guys, I've been having a lot of dreams. And the dread that Charlie felt in 2018, I have been feeling. I felt it leading up to Charlie's assassination. I pulled my children out of school. I was having this dreams and visions about bees and organization that was happening in America. I have a sense of dread that a lot of these events that are happening, these inexplicable events like the Malibu fires, sort of coastal events, the Texas floods, that this is not happening by accident. Okay, I have a feeling of a sense of dread that the Fed is taking from Americans right now, and that we are heading toward war. Okay, I'm going to share that. I feel that we are headed toward war, that they want war by any means necessary, and that you need to be, wherever you are in the world, fully dialed into that. Okay, we can't be stupid this time. We cannot believe what the media is telling us. We cannot believe what the government are telling us. We cannot believe whatever it is, whatever attack that's going to happen, and we're going to be told that it was this guy. We have to start to recognize the pattern of things, okay? The predictive model of this is my red line, then the red line gets crossed and people are denying it. And what happens? Christians are mass slaughtered every single time. Propagandized people, Christians in the East to hate Christians in the West. And there's just less of us by the end of it. And these things tend to happen, world wars, when they want a reset because people start waking up. And so I just wanted to express that to you, that I feel that we are reaching that brink right now. And you need to prepare for that. And it feels like an almost inevitability because wars are planned in boardrooms, okay? In boardrooms. You're going to send you and your children and your sons, they're not going to fight. And I don't love a scenario right now that's happening where we have envoys being sent to Russia and Israel and everybody's meeting all this. It feels like something's coming, and I know that you probably sense that dread too. Turning our attention to Turning Point. Did you know, I learned this from one of our sleuths, that Turning Point might potentially now be becoming a real estate empire. Apparently, Tyler Boyer has a younger brother who for 10 years has worked in dental sales. Until Charlie died, because a unique opportunity presented itself at Turning Point USA, where Tyler had begun telling people that TP USA plans to roll out a program to build houses for first-time home buyers. They're going to use Turning Point USA's position and audience to market this idea of new homes. And the marketing pitch is that Charlie preached to young Christians about how school and universities was a waste of time, and that it was a waste of money, and that they should get married early, and they should start their lives, and they should have kids. But he never really taught them how or what they should do next. So they are planning to leverage Turning Point USA's position with young Christians as a captive audience to build and sell houses. Okay, that's what the person told me, and I checked that out. They presented some proof of that conversation happening. I think that's interesting. I think we should share that. And I'm sure that that's probably what Charlie wrote. He apparently had a 15-20-year plan, according to Frank Turek. Or was it Rob McCoy? Rob McCoy said that, I think they all said it, honestly, but Rob McCoy did say that. He kept this in his notebooks, and so a real estate empire could be on the brink for Turning Point USA. Amazing. That really is something. Anyways, you guys, we are going to take another break for our sponsors, and then I will get into some of your comments. All right, you guys, whether you are struggling with credit cards, personal loans, or medical bills, PDS Debt has custom options to help you get out of debt. They go beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation, and they can craft a personalized plan that is designed just for you. There is no minimum credit score that's required. They are here to help you save more, pay off your debt faster, and start putting money back where it belongs, which is obviously in your pocket. PDS Debt is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. It boasts thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and holds a 5-star rating on Trustpilot because PDS has helped hundreds of thousands of people get out of debt. Every month you wait, it will just cost you more in interest and fees. The best time to start was probably yesterday. The second best is right now. Don't wait another month. Take back control in 30 seconds. Get your free personalized assessment and the best option for you by visiting pdsdebt.com/Candace. Again, that's pdsdebt.com/Candace. Also, I want to tell you guys about home title lock, because if you are a homeowner, you should listen to this. The FBI has been warning homeowners about this type of real estate fraud that's on the rise, which is title theft. Now, this type of theft doesn't happen by breaking down your doors and stealing your stuff. It happens with just a one-page document that has a forged signature that can get filed at the county. And if your title, which is the legal record of ownership, gets transferred out of your name, criminals can then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your property. And you won't even know about it until you start getting collection notices and foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I partnered with Home Title Lock, so that you can protect your equity and find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code Candace at HomeTitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That is 24/7 monitoring of your title records, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud occurs, the US-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix it for you. Again, that's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Candace, or use the link in the description below. So what's going to happen now? Threats, lawsuits, lawyers, bankruptcy.